In the US, there's a growing concern over Elon Musk's role in federal spending decisions. US President Donald Trump has empowered Mr. Musk and his team to make drastic cuts. In the last 2 weeks, he shuttered several government programs and moved to close the US Agency for International Development. Most recently, he's gained access to closely held financial systems, including the US Treasury Department's payment system. Democrats say the situation is dangerous, unconstitutional, and a power grab.
Hundreds of protesters are rallying in Washington, D.C. against billionaire Elon Musk's takeover of the federal payment system, raising alarms that it could be one of the largest privacy and security breaches in U.S. history.
How about we make sure that people know through every...
We feel like our country's being stripped away. We've got an unelected official who's acting as a shadow government with Elon Musk. He's taking control of the finances. All of a sudden, we've got orders to hold up funding for critical aid, and people are outraged. You know, this is not what people voted for. We feel like our democracy is under attack.
Where various members of our government and other organizers are here to protest Elon Musk's unlawful intrusion and theft of our intellectual property, our private information, our healthcare information, and the very systems that make our government function, the data and the software and the hardware.
Musk, the world's richest person, also serves as an unpaid advisor to President Donald Trump. His Department of Government Efficiency has been tasked with identifying ways to cut spending and loosen regulations. Now his team is leading efforts to shut down the United States Agency for International Development, a move that's drawing sharp criticism from opposition Democrats. They argue these actions show Musk is gaining too much influence in Washington.
DOGE is not a real government agency. It has no authority to make spending decisions. It has no authority to shut programs down or ignore federal law. To give DOGE a chokehold on Treasury payments is outlandishly dangerous.
Democrats say Musk's actions are unconstitutional, but the president has defended him. And for now, Musk's mission to revamp government shows no signs of slowing down.
Let's look at this with Richard Pildes, who is Professor of Constitutional Law at the New York University School of Law. He specialises in legal concerns concerning democracy. You seem like just the man, Professor. Let's start with DOGE. Where does it sit within government and within the Constitution?
So the president has said that this entity is actually part of an existing entity in the government that's designed to deal with digital services issues. And he has recently said that Elon Musk is what is called a special government employee, which is a recognized category in the law, but it's a temporary category. You can serve as a special employee like this for about 4 months. There are also still various requirements for any special government employee, which we don't know whether Elon Musk has, in fact, complied with. There are disclosure requirements about financial information, for example, measures to deal with potential conflicts of interest. So there are lots of questions around all of this. And one of the issues is we don't have a lot of transparency yet about many of the questions surrounding the role that Elon Musk is playing and exactly what he's doing, and his the people working for him are actually doing.
So do those questions only get answered when someone takes out a lawsuit and a judge says, stop this now?
Well, you know, Congress could demand more transparency. Congress has a lot of levers it can use against the executive branch. It can hold up nominations, refuse to confirm people. But so far, Congress, which of course is in the control of the Republican Party, hasn't shown any kind of interest in challenging any of this. So in light of that, the challenges are going to come through the courts, and a number of challenges have already been filed.
And this takeover, if I can put it that way, of Mr. Musk take over the federal payment system. Well, if you're in charge of government efficiency, it's hard to measure efficiency if you don't know how much government officials are being paid to do their jobs. So that seems reasonable?
Well, there are various kind of legal procedures and legal protections. So this is obviously when we're talking about access to all the information about the government payment system. There are privacy laws, there are a variety of protections that are built in for such incredibly sensitive information. We don't know whether all of those protections are being complied with. This goes to the larger question of the transparency with which all of this is being done. So the first thing I would say for public information is, actually getting access to an understanding of what in fact is being done, what powers are being made available. For example, there are some stories that suggest Musk has only been given the power to be read into the information in the payment system, but not to alter anything. We don't know if that's the case. So litigation does become a way of bringing to the surface what's actually going on in the government if the government itself is not providing the requisite transparency.
And are there conflict of interest concerns here? Because on the one hand, Mr. Musk is not a Secretary of State. He's not formally part of the government, so he doesn't have to go through the congressional approvals process. But on the other hand, he's a computer billionaire, and access to those sorts of data must be, well, his competitors would pay a lot of money for.
Yes, so I mean that is one of the concerns that's been raised, and also if he were actually a full-time government employee, the disclosures he would have to make about financial matters to deal with potential conflicts of interest would be public disclosures. As a special government employee, the disclosures he's required to make by law are actually kept confidential. But we don't even know if he's made those disclosures. I'm skeptical, frankly, given how fast everything is moving, that he has. But, there's no question among the many issues around all of his activities, one of the questions is the potential conflicts of interest, given his range of business interests, and how any of those are being addressed or, protected against.
Thank you so much for talking us through that, Professor Richard Pildes, a Professor of Constitutional Law. Thank you so much.
Thank you.